The Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force and increase in crime took center stage from the chairman of the forum, Carlos Simons, who asked the chief executive if he agrees that the situation threatens to damage the reputation of the TCI as a relatively crime-free destination, and if so, would he please say what is being done to arrest and reverse this worrying trend?
Steps are now underway to recruit from the UK 4 police officers, experienced police officers, that will strengthen the crime detection capability of the police force. And discussions have also been held between the Governor and the Canadian government about the scope for police assistance from Canada, drawing on that country's long experience of policing and helping with policing in the Caribbean. But I have to say here that the police need more help from the community to enable them to turn back this upswing in crime. The people that are burgling homes and businesses or inflicting violence on others live in our community. People know who they are. Some people will have information that would help the police with their investigations. And I would urge every member of the public to use the Crime Stoppers confidential telephone service to pass any information that may assist the police in their work.
Karen Delancey, who has been an advocate for consumer rights, asked the Permanent Secretary of Finance to inform the forum if an assessment has been conducted so as to analyze the cost of living in the TCI in comparison to the cost of living across the region, and if he would state what those findings are.
Mr. Chairman, the TCI had no inflation rate data until 2008 to measure the trend in the cost of living. No comparison of cost of living across the region was made. In 2008, we observed a substantial increase in the prices of basic commodities and fuel prices in the TCI and in many parts of the world. The TCI, like most of the other Caribbean countries, feel the effect of the global crisis at least a quarter behind the first world economies, especially the US, where we have close trading links. Even if the US is bouncing back, the prices of commodities in the islands continue to rise. In 2008, the inflation rate stood at 7.9% in the TCI. This was brought up by increase in food commodities, fuel prices, and house rentals. In addition, we had the hurricane Ike that somehow pushed prices further up. The estimate for 2009 is around 4% for inflation and roughly steady prices in 2010.
Charlene Robinson quizzed the chief executive of the Civil Service about the status of the police barracks in Providenciales. Capes explained an issue with the lease has prevented the officers from moving into their new homes.
Mr. Chairman, the position is that the lease of the police barracks is currently under review by the Attorney General's chambers, and therefore no further progress has been made until that review has been settled.
CEO of Lime TCI, Draxwell Seymour, asked as to whether there were any development being put on hold by the governor and the interim administration, but no answer was provided to lack of preparation on Cape's part, but he did answer Seymour's next question regarding the affordable housing scheme in Wheeling, Providenciales.
Will the Chief Executive be pleased to state the number of belongers and the percent of belongers currently in the affordable housing scheme in Wheeling?
However, one of the more interesting questions of the day came from the Reverend Derek Hamilton, who had a sensitive question regarding the sale of the former Premier's house.
That the former Premier's private residence in Leeward is being marketed. It is also public knowledge that the national crest of the Turks and Caicos Island is a part of the decor of that residence. Will the Chief Executive be pleased to say whether or not it is appropriate to have a national symbol affixed to a non-government building? If not, will he further say, A, what TCIG's plans are to have the crest removed from the premises before it is sold? And B, does TCIG have plans to ensure that national symbols are regulated by legislation and used only in official capacities where proper authority, with proper authority and/or restrictions?
Mr. Chairman, there is currently no legislation that addresses the approval or the restriction on the use of national symbols. As a result, the government has no intention of removing the crest from the premises, and there are indeed no legal grounds on which to proceed. Currently, the government has no plans to ensure that national symbols are regulated by legislation. However, this matter could be explored with the assistance of the Attorney General's chambers.
For WIV4 News, I'm Takara Bain.